Hello, this is Naomi and this is your tutorial for Faux metal jacket. Now I'm going to be filming this in bits so that you don't have to watch me do absolutely everything, so I haven't worked out how to do the fast forward part yet, but this is the start of what we'll be making. Okay, from your visual shopping list you need to have a wooden box, some cheap double-sided sticky tape. Now I get 3 rolls for £1 from the town shop. Eiderden tape, self-adhesive. You get this from, I think the link I gave was Wix, but other hardware shops sell it. You'll need some card, some things for texturing, so I'm using some mesh. You can get this in the kiddie section, which is where I actually got this, or you can get it off of onion bags. This is in the kiddie section, and I believe this is sequin waste. That creates some really good textures as well. In addition to that, I've got some plasterer's tape, and that's sticky on that side. I use that for a lot of mixed media projects. I've got stick-on gems and pearls because I would like some rivets. Use stick-on because it's easier. If you've got a stick gluing, it takes more time. I haven't really planned out what I want to do other than that I want this in the centre. So I've got a variety of die cuts. I've got some hardware findings, I've got some weather clocks, and I've got this one. You'll also need, well, as an optional extra, some gilding wax. I'm using Treasure's Gold. This one's Renaissance. Finding gives quite a good rust effect. Black acrylic, cheap stuff from Wilco's, that costs about £1. Kitchen roll is a must, and I've also got scissors, screwdriver, pokey tools and ball tools in case of everything that you'll need. So first thing I'm going to do is clear the deck. Right, the first stage of making one of these boxes or decorating one of these boxes is to cover the entire outside with tape. Don't bother with the bottom, just do the back, the sides, the top and the front. Okay, before you do that, take your closure off if you've got one, but don't take the hinges out at this point, just the closure at the front. Okay, and here's one I did before, save a bit of time. It's from an old project that I had and I didn't like, so I've ripped as much of the project off as I can, and then I've covered it in the tape. So you can see I went over the tops and down the sides, along the front, and then I took a craft knife and I just cut round so that it opens. Yeah? Okay. Once you've got your box, except for the bottom, covered in tape, take your protective layer off. Right, this will take a couple of minutes. You don't have to take the whole lot off now, but I just find it easier to just take it off and be done with, because I like my decorations to not just be on the top, but to overlap the sides and actually have bits that will go all the way over the top and down the sides. It just makes it a bit more interesting. So excuse me if I'm a bit off camera while I do this bit. Come on. I should have put nails on your shopping list, because you'll need nails for this. Okay, I haven't pre-designed this, as I said. I basically just go for it. And with faux tape, or faux metal I should say, texture is the key. That's what makes it look more interesting, especially when you get to the top. We are adding a black acrylic. The more texture you've got, the more gaps it has to sit in and look old. I mean, a pirate's treasure chest is great to do with this style for a child, because it looks like it's been dug up from somewhere. Nearly done. Oops. This isn't difficult to do at all. But the reason we are covering everything with DS tape is because you don't want to have to mess about with take this dip down, stick that dip down. It's easier just to coat the whole thing. And then you can overlap where you need to overlap. Doesn't want to come off. So you just create a self-adhesive background to work onto. It makes the next stage so much faster and so much easier. Right, so that's my sticky dots prepared. Right, this will be my top centre. As you can see, it's got this is a tattered lace dye that I'm using, and that will go in the middle, but I don't want it to be the bottom layer. So what I'm actually going to do is take some mesh and put that down either side of where my die cut will sit, because that will give me some nice texture next to the flat cardboard. You don't need anything to be exact, you can make this completely random, just stick things down, it doesn't matter. That'll go there. Oops. And as you can see, it makes it so much easier. Right, I'm going to have my mesh go down the front section, and all that will happen is I will cut along here, along this seam here, so that it's still open, so that this way the pattern will continue on. And if you're individually sticking things down, you won't be able to do it that easy, because you'd have to try and glue this down, which isn't always that easy. Okay, and then my centrepiece is going to go in place. Right. My advice for when you're using card is use something that's fairly thick, so don't use paper for this, use some cardstock. It gives it a bit more oomph. So when you get to the putting the metal tape on, it gives it a bit more of a ridge. I'm actually going to make this 2 pieces thick. Probably I've bought my craft knife over, but never mind. Right, I'm just doing this so that I've got a really thick piece in that corner. And that goes there. So you've got a really deep crevice is going to appear there. don't make it exact, don't get all tied up in all that bit's crooked or that's too short. I'm actually going to have that go over the edge like that. And all you've got to do basically now is keep building up layers. So I'm going to have a bit of mesh. This is plasterer's tape. I'm going to go down over the edge there. Right, use scraps of cards, don't use your best stuff. You don't need your best stuff, it's going to be covered up. So I've used the orange because it's not a colour that I use a lot in my crafting. And the idea is it's going to look like you've got pieces of metal. So if you look at steampunk, you'll see there's a lot of layers of steel or whatever, brass or whatever metal it was they were using at the time. Right, that bit I'll cut round with my knife, and that can overlap there. So nothing is exact, everything's just going down as it goes down. If you're one of those crafters where everything's got to be straight, you might struggle with this a little bit. Let's have some of this. A piece of card. Right, see, this is the seam here for my box. I will go back later, as I said, with my craft knife. Cut that down. Come on. There we go. Hold that in place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop video. I'm going to finish getting this covered, and we'll start up the next part. Talk to you soon. Hello. Okay, this is what I've done so far. I've realised from watching that the first part you can't actually see the die cut, that you will see the die cut I've got as my topper once I start with the metal tape. So as you can see, there's lots of layers of card and mesh all around it. I've got my die cuts there. Okay, it's messy, you're going to find that bits stick up. That doesn't matter, because as soon as you start putting the eiderdown tape down, it'll all stay down. I've used double-sided sticky tape in places just to make sure that the cardstock's down. I haven't done it there. As I said, the eiderdown tape will hold that down. Right, the next thing I'm going to show you is using bling. Right, I want to have a big rivet at each of the corners, so I'm going to use these stones. Now you get that sheet from the tan shop, and there is a bigger one usually on the sheet. So tan shop's the place to look for that one, and they usually have them in this colour, and they do some other colours in different shapes, but that's my preferred one. Okay. If you wanted to do, say, a running line of rivets, you could use the smaller ones. Oops. But because they are as deep as they are, and it's only a couple of millimetres, it does make a difference once you've got that tape on, because it's a hard surface that the tape's going over. Now I'm not going for symmetry, but obviously you don't want a ton of stuff on one side and nothing on the other. See? There's another one there. And then that's been riveted down, so I'll put one there. And as you can see, it's a different size of stone, so it's like different pieces, different rivets. Basically what I'm going to do is, where it looks like another piece of metal being bolted down over the top of another piece, I'm going to add a rivet. And if you want running rivets, you just do this. Card Candy Works, dewdrops, they've got a lovely smooth effect. You can smooth those over your picture. You can use the pearls, they give a lovely deep dome for doing this sort of thing. So I have a big one there. Take that off of there. When I use these stones on other projects, I usually end up hot gluing them to make sure they stay put. So you're going to do this all over the top, and on side sections. Now, just because I've stopped adding stuff now, as far as layers of paper is concerned, doesn't mean I have to completely stop. I could, at any point, add another die cut, which I might actually do at the front. I could add more card, more mesh. You get your iodine tape on, and you can sort of like go, okay, that needs more on it, and you add some more. I'm actually going to have some of those along the top. Oops, that can be my mistake. Deep ones there. One there. And front. Add that onto that side. And a big one here. Oops. Another one here. Okay, so just keep going till you're happy you've got everything riveted enough. Put that one there. The reason I'm putting that one there is because I'm going to trim this little piece off. I don't actually want that bit there. Okay, so that's my rivets in. And what I'm going to do now is take a sharp knife and cut back along that seam. Make sure you're not cutting towards your body when you do this. You don't want an accident. Make sure your knife is sharp. If it's blunt, it's going to do what mine's doing at the moment. If I use the tip, it won't go through. Okay. Right, I need to adjust this rivet. I'll just remove it. Okay, and taking that bit off with that one tip. And another one with like I say. Here we go. So my box that now opens, but my patterns all match up. Okay. Just move that out of the way. Right. Editing tape. It's self-adhesive, but we're going for quite a rough look, so please don't cut all of your pieces of editing tape clear through to the same size. You want to roughly just long bits, short bits, square bits. I mean, if you want to cut bits in half, then go for it. Okay. I recommend you use Teflon scissors if you've got them. Mine were 9 years old and they kind of died a few months ago. I need to get a new pair. If you get a good quality pair, they will last that long. Right, my advice at this point, any bits that keep sticking up like here, or as you can see here, you want to take those bits down first. So nails are helpful in this case. Don't worry about it being straight, looking good. You just basically want to slat it down. and if you can see already just with rubbing with my finger, you're getting the texture through. You can let it overlap like that, just as you did before, slice around with your knife and it'll go through. Okay, what else is sticking up there? And you're going to cover the whole box. You're going to cover the top, the bottom, the sides, the front, the back, all of it. Where you have your stones, I suggest you put it down slowly. Run your finger around. I've been using this stuff for a couple of years now. Don't worry about creases. Creases just add to character. Stick it here. And let's tie it there. But the reason I suggest going slowly is you can rip the tape. As much as it is a bit more durable than using ordinary foil out of the kitchen, it will still rip. Okay, that looks a bit stressed there at the moment, but I'll show you later how to make that look better. It's all just sticky up. Oh, one more. So here where I've got a corner, I'm simply going to tear that, stick that side down and then that over the top. Okay, and that's most of my sticky up bits covered. What I'm going to do next is stop the camera again, get this all completely covered. As I said, you want to do all of the outside of your box. When that's done, I'll come back and show you the next stage. See you soon. Hello, I'm back again. Okay, now I have my entire box covered, and what I've done is I've cut round the edge. So I started then working my way round. Actually went a bit wrong there where I got a bit excited. And cut round, and then I opened it up and I cut the back seam from there. Now it looks messy around the edges at the moment, but that doesn't matter, because what we actually need to do is make sure that these edges are covered. But we'll get to that in just a second. Right, earlier on I mentioned that, okay, you've got your tape on, you can add extra things. So what I'm going to do is show you that. So, another die cut. And what I'm going to do is add it so it sits there. And I'm going to do that using the tape. I'm not going to bother with gluing it down. She says. Right, one of the things I forgot to mention to you earlier, your eiderdown tape needs to overlap at all times to make sure you've got no gaps. Okay. So So I'm literally just going to add this piece on top just by adding tape. Now I'm sorry that my lighting's not very good. As I said in my Docs Down Nearly video, I am still quite new to doing videos, and it's a learning curve. I'll get better, I promise. Okay, just going to keep adding tape. Overlapping as I go. One of the things I have realised is I need my setup on the other side, because where I'm left-handed, sometimes you can't always see what I'm doing. Right, I don't actually want that to go under. I'm going to cut that there. Can be a pain getting the backing off of this stuff. You get into the rhythm a bit. Nearly done. This will be the last piece for this. Okay, so now on my front bit I've got, I don't think you know if you can see it, I've got a die cut here. I've got texture here where I had my mesh in place. I've now got another die cut over the top. I've got a rivet there, rivet there. Okay. Now I'm going to take my craft knife, insert it between the two sections, and carefully cut that so it opens. And the same again on this side. Okay. Get your die cut all matches up. Okay. Now you've got two options. You can leave it raw and paint, which is not what I like to do. What I tend to do at this point now, to make sure your edges are done up properly, is I start going around from here. So I'm literally just making the edge of the eiderdown tape sits on the edge of the box there, and overlapping a little bit. I don't want it on the inside down that end, I just want it on that very end there. and overlap down the front. Now where I went wrong earlier, here, I've got a slice here, that will get covered up as I do this step. And I would recommend at this point, when you get round to the hinges or round to this back section, unscrew your hinges, do your tape and then screw it back in place. So when I get to that bit, I'll probably show you there. Okay, so I'm going to stop again, finish taping around my edges so you don't have to watch me do that, and I'll come back when we get to the bit where the hinges. See you soon.